Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Okay, so today I'm going to do something a little different. I'm going to share my testimony with you guys. If you don't know, I am a Christian and I'm also a pastor's wife. That's kind of scary to say out here on the interwebs because there are unfortunately some Christians that kind of give the rest of us a bad name. So I just wanted to go ahead and tell you guys my testimony and kind of, I don't know, what I came from and where I'm at and just all of that stuff. So if you want to hear my testimony, please just keep watching. Okay, so I didn't grow up in a Christian family. We went to church maybe a couple times. My mom she was raised Catholic and she kind of raised us what I call Catholic light. Like we observed a lot of the Catholic holidays and just some Catholic based things. I don't really know how to explain that. And we had Catholic Bibles and whatever, but we never read as a family. We never really did any of that stuff. I've gone to Mass a few times, but I've never gone to confession and I've never done any of that stuff. My dad, he went to a Seventh-day Adventist church whenever he went to church, but he didn't, like I said, we never really went to church. We went to church we started to go to church, I don't know, I want to say I was like 17 maybe, and we went to church on a couple times, and it was this, I think it was a non-denominational church in a really small town away from the small town that I graduated from. And I don't know that I ever really paid attention. The music was cool, but I didn't really care to like hear whatever the preacher was saying because I just didn't care. My family life was really, really hard growing up. A lot of abuse. And my dad worked a lot, so he wasn't really there. And we just moved around a lot. I've been homeless a few times. We've lived in motels. We've lived in other people's houses. It's just, my life was just really kind of crazy. And I got kicked out when I was 17 years old. Me and my mom got into it and she threw me through a table, and I told her that was it. She's not gonna do that to me anymore. And she kicked me out and wouldn't let me take anything of mine. I eventually got to get some of my clothes, but she kept all of my other belongings, including stuff that my biological dad bought for me. And I moved in with my boyfriend because I had nowhere else to go. So I was 17, a junior in high school, and I was living with my boyfriend. Now, this is really, really hard to talk through and talk about. Life was just weird. I was 17 years old. I wasn't supposed to be out on my own yet. I was a junior in high school and I wasn't supposed to be on my own yet, but I was. And I'm thankful for everything that was going on in that time and who my boyfriend was at the time, which our relationship was really, really weird, but I was safe. And that's all that really matters. I was safe. And I went to school and I made amazing grades and I graduated and I went to college, and then me and he was my fiance, we broke up and I moved out and moved to a friend's house. And during this time I'd done a lot of drinking, a whole lot of drinking. Lots of drinking, lots of partying, lots of dancing, lots of drinking, lots of partying, lots of dancing, lots of drinking. Oh my goodness. And even when I was younger, like I started smoking cigarettes when I was 11. I started smoking pot when I was 14. I started drinking when I was 14. I started having sex when I was 14. And it was all right. I mean, there was no really like, I want better for you, you can have better. I didn't know. So I just kind of went around with my surroundings. All my friends were doing it, so I was doing it, and I didn't see what the big problem was. So all of this stuff kind of led me to, I moved back in with my mom for when I was in my second semester of my freshman year, and she ended up kicking me out again because I had a dog, and I was gone a lot with working and college, and then I wanted to be out. You know, I had already been out and not under like rules and having to check in and all of that stuff that I was used to it. I was 20. I wanted to be gone. So my mom kicked me out because my dog peed on the floor and she had new carpet. So I moved in with a friend, and me and another friend of mine that we worked together, and we went and drank and danced all night at a club at least 3 or 4 times a week. And through her, I met Brad, and her friend was dating his friend, and that's how we met. And he come from a really, really, really good family, really good Christian-based family, good values, but he was kind of a hood rat. He was drunk when I met him, and we got drunk together, and we started dating, and that's what we did. We would drink and party, and I'd go sing, and he'd play pool and darts, and we just had a good old time, whatever. Well, we started dating in March 2008, I believe it was. Yeah. And I was pregnant by August with our oldest daughter. And so, you know, we weren't really doing, you know, the Christian things there. And it was really, really, really rough. He had a really good job, but we were wanting to move closer to his family, as he has a huge family, a huge, amazing family. And he wanted to raise our kids out there where he was raised. And I thought that was a great idea. So we moved in with his mom, his parents. We moved in with his parents my last month of pregnancy, and we lived there for probably the first 6 months or more of our oldest daughter's life. And that was really hard because I didn't really know them, and then I was living with them, and my husband was gone all the time, partying or working, and I was home with the baby, and we had a really, really hard relationship. It was very tough. I chalk it up to the grace of God why I stayed, because it was really, really hard. He didn't want to stay home and play dad or husband, which we were just boyfriend and girlfriend then, but I was living with his parents, and he was just gone all the time. So yeah, we're together, blah, blah. April of 2010, we got married, and by August. By that August, we were pregnant with our second daughter, and she was born June 2011. And the January before she was born, I asked my husband, hey, let's make it a New Year's resolution this year to start going to church. Because his parents had been inviting us to church, and we'd gone a couple times, and I really liked it. The preacher was amazing. I believed everything he said, and he didn't talk at you. He didn't talk down to you. He didn't make you feel like what he was saying was personal. Everybody in the church knew that I was unmarried, and, well, no, we were married. But when I first started coming around, I was unmarried and pregnant with our oldest daughter, and they all knew who we were. They knew what we were doing. They knew we were drinking the Saturday before we came to church and just everything else like that. And nobody in the church made me feel like I was a terrible person. They wrapped their arms around me and hugged me and loved me and encouraged me to come, and I wanted to be around those people. There was something different about those people. Why were they so happy all the time? I struggled with depression. I have since I was in 5th grade. It's genetic, but I also count it up to my life circumstances, why it was brought on so early. So I have craved joy, true joy. I want to be happy too. So, like I said, I had asked Brad if we could start going to church more, and he's like, yeah, I was raised in church. I want to raise my kids in church. That's great. Well, through all this, it was still really, really hard because he was not a good man. He was faithful to me, but he wasn't ever there. He was always out drinking with his friends and partying and leaving me, and I was taking care of the kids or pregnant or whatever, and like he would, if me and him were out on a date and his best friend called and said, hey, come to the bar, he'd take me home and go to the bar. Sorry. Old wounds. Anyways, so we started going to church, and through that, we started, talking and praying and doing all these things and getting involved in church. And about 4 months after our middle daughter was born, no, not that long, maybe a couple months after our middle daughter was born, I was sleeping in the living room with her because I was not allowed to sleep in the bedroom because the baby kept him awake. And me getting up to feed her and change her and stuff kept her awake. So I had to sleep in the living room. I told you he was not a good man. And I was praying, God, please, I can't do this anymore. You have got to do something because I'm going to leave him. I'm going to divorce him. I didn't believe in divorce just because that's just not something that I wanted to ever do. I never wanted to be in that situation. I never entered marriage with the thought of I can just divorce him. But it was getting too much. I couldn't do it anymore. So he came in one night. He'd, I guess, not fallen asleep or had woken up or whatever, and he was like, I want to talk to you. And he had gotten saved and all of this stuff, and his testimony is amazing, by the way. But we'll leave that for another time. If you guys want to hear his testimony, let me know down in the comments. But from that moment, I saw true change. Like, he stopped drinking, he stopped cussing, he stopped going out and partying, he stopped a lot of the stuff and started praying more and reading the Bible more and doing all of this stuff and trying to be a godly man, and we never missed church from that moment on. And I was still struggling, and I didn't understand why I was still struggling, because I thought I had gotten saved when I was 7 at a VBS. They would bring a bus to the apartment complex I lived in, and all of us kids would pile on the bus and go to VBS at this Baptist church, and I thought I had gotten saved there. So I thought I was fine. But I was really, really struggling with, now I wanted to kind of sow my oats too, I guess you can call it. Like, he had all his time partying and getting all of that out and getting to go do and just be and whatever. And I had been stuck taking care of the kids most of the time while he was out doing whatever he wanted. I wanted to go out too. And he was like, something's not right. Are you sure? Blah, blah. I was like, but rules. I don't want to be under rules. Blah, blah. So, I had started leading worship in church and was singing and all of that stuff. And the following November, I think she was a year and a half. It was a year after, like a whole, almost 2 years later. Master's Voice was there, and they were singing, doing revival and whatever, or it was a special night or something, and he did this analogy where God is like, he was telling a story, and his story was, if a person came up to me and said, hey, I'm gonna die, I'm dying, and there's no cure for me, please can you help me? And he's like, yes, I can help you. And he goes to his daughter, and he's like, honey, See, I'm not even able to tell the story. Honey, this man is dying and there's no way for him to be saved, but your blood is the cure. Would you give your life to save this man? And she says, yes, Daddy, of course I will. So he's sitting by her side and holding her hand. And as her body drains of this blood, he's telling her how much he loves her and how thankful he is to have her. And she says, Daddy, I will do anything to save this man. For you, I will do this. It's okay. And then he takes her blood. And he says, this is my baby's blood and this is what's going to save your life. And the man says, never mind, I don't need it anymore. I found something else. I'm going to be fine. And he's sitting there with this gift that cost his daughter's life. And the man who said he needed it rejected it. And that opened my eyes. That was an analogy to what God did for us through Christ. And how so many people all the time just reject him. And it was his only son. And all that blood. And the blood is what covers us and washes our sins. And he was like, and you need to know that you're saved. And I turned to my husband and I was shaking. I couldn't see anymore. I was like, honey, I don't know that I know. I don't know that I know. And he was like, okay, well, come pray with me. So I prayed, and I truly has got into my heart. And I stood up a completely different woman. Everything was just completely different. I no longer had the selfish desires that I had. I no longer thought of it as, I no longer thought of it as rules and regulations and things and guidelines and stuff that I had to do by this dictator dude who was like making me do it, or else I was gonna whatever. It wasn't like that anymore. It was, I stood up realizing what he had done for me and how much it cost. And I am so unworthy of it because I screw up all the time. I am still unworthy of that gift because I screw up every day. Every day I sin. I do something wrong. I screw up. And but I desire to live for God. I desire to live for him. My wants have completely changed. My desires completely changed. My life is no longer my own. It is his. He will do whatever he wants through me, and I am perfectly okay with that. If he wants, he's moved us out here to where we are now because of my husband's job and my calling and his calling through this, and that's why I'm here on YouTube. So I know what joy is. That's another big thing. I truly know what joy is. And it lies in the salvation and the strength and the peace and the comfort of my God. And I'm so thankful for that. Because I can't do it on my own. I couldn't do it on my own. I tried to fill the hole and change the depression that was in me, that I have been struggling with for years, with alcohol and pot and cigarettes and boys and men and partying and all of this stuff. And it's only through Christ and God's love and strength that I know what joy is. Now, I'm not going to say that I don't struggle with depression sometimes or anxiety sometimes, because I do, but it's nothing. Not at all anything like it used to be. I completely opened myself up and said, God, you can have all of me. Have all of it. Have everything. Take it over, because I can't do it. You have to do it. And I let him in every part of me and let him take control of absolutely everything. And through that, he has done an amazing work in me. An amazing work in me. I no longer desire to go out and drink and drown my sorrows and life and stuff, because I don't need to do that. Whenever I have issues that I cannot handle, I turn to God and I give them to him, and he handles them for me, and I just go along with whatever it is. And I know that if there's a storm that happens, like there was a storm where I lost a child, and this is after I had been a born-again Christian, but I knew that through that something was going to be amazing and happen. And if one of the things it taught me is, it taught me that I have more faith in God than I thought I had, and heaven just sounds sweeter all the time, because I know that my child is up there, and one day I'm gonna get to find out if it's a boy or a girl. And I'm excited for whenever that day happens, and I will get to be there with my Jesus and everybody else that's passed on before me. And I'm not gonna say that, you know, my life has been completely perfect since I got up from the ground after I said my prayer, and it's just more than just praying a prayer. It is way more than praying a prayer. It's completely surrendering everything you are and everything you have at the feet of Jesus, saying, just take it all. Just come into me and take it all. It's all yours. And I have not regretted it, not a moment since then. And it's been about 4 years since I've become a Christian, and I've never been so happy and had so much joy and just had the peace and the comfort and the strength that I've needed for anything. My God has provided me a life that I could have never have dreamed of and never imagined. My God has provided me a husband who is an amazing husband. You heard early in the beginning of this, he was not a good man, and he was not a good significant other, but he has become an amazing husband and a wonderful leader and partner and best friend to me because of who he's become in God. And I also want to say this. I am a Christian. I am striving every day to be more like Jesus. And Jesus loves everybody. He had dinner with the tax collectors. He went to Zacchaeus' house, who was the head honcho of tax collectors, and they were like really bad people back in Old Testament times. Like, they were just like pretty much thieves. And he was with everybody, and he loved everybody, and his desire to love them and show them his love. So I don't want you to think that because I am a Christian that I'm going to hate you or discriminate against you for whatever you are, whoever you believe in. Because I fully believe that you can't see Christ's love if I am judging you or if I'm putting out any hate. You won't see who Christ is if I do that. And that's not who my God is. My God is not hateful. My God is forgiving. My God judges those who are to be judged, and that's not my place. I cannot judge you for anything that you do because I'm no better. The only reason why I would go to heaven is because my God has saved me and forgiven me of my sins. So don't think, please, please, please do not think that because I'm a Christian I would hate you or discriminate against you or judge you for anything. Please don't, because that's not who my Christ is to me. And I want to show everybody around me who my Christ is and show him through me. So if you guys have any questions or comments, and please be kind, please leave them down below, and I will make sure to reply back to them as fast as I can. And I thank you guys so much for watching this. If you're still here, I know this is becoming a very long video, and I hope I did my testimony justice. Just I want to leave you with this little bit. If you're sad inside and you're dark inside, find the nearest church or a Christian, and a Christian that you know is a Christian, not a person who says they're a Christian and doesn't act like one. Going to church on Sunday mornings makes you no more a Christian than standing in a garage makes you a car. So if you have questions and you want to know something, ask me, or ask somebody that in your life that you know is a real Christian. and let them tell you who God is and what God's love can do for you, because it can change your life for the better. All right. I love you guys so, so much, and I can't wait to see you guys again in my next video. Don't forget that you can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, all at Tiffany and Co. XO. Please hit that subscribe. See, my nerves are all jacked up. So don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you're not subscribed already. And give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. And we'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys.